I'm Debaritra Chatterjee, and currently I'm working with Exponentia.ai as a senior data engineer, basically into as an Alteryx developer. The position is senior data engineer, and my job is as a developer, Alteryx developer, and building workflows and everything. It's an ETL tool. So my background actually, I'm a BTech student. I passed out BTech in 2015. After that, I joined eClerk Services. It was a financial company. Over there, I was working as a senior analyst over there, in mainly working into Excel, SQL, and sort of Tableau. Then followed by, I changed quite a few jobs. And my last stint was with Genermans, wherein I was a reporting analyst, basically setting up reports in the form of Alteryx or Tableau dashboards or Excel. I had an offer from PepsiCo also, and then that work was actually in line with what I was working in General. I wanted to have something different in my resume. I wanted to work into a different field. I never worked as a developer, only as a reporting person or an MIS person, you can say. But then I felt like this is the right time to make the change. So that's why, in order to pursue a different path, I moved towards a data engineer kind of a role. So the challenges that I faced while transitioning was like experience. Like I was having experience into the reporting analyst as a reporting kind of a person, reporting guy. But then the companies wanted someone who had a developer background, who knew the pros and the cons of development, how the agile works, how the SDLC works, and all those things. So it was a bit of a difficulty for me in order to gain all those experiences, all those knowledge. I had to go through a lot of materials, a lot of studies and everything related to software development life cycle, how sprint works, what are the different agile methodologies, like there is Scrum, there is Kanban, and everything, all those things. And also in the development part, like I wanted to move into the Alteryx kind of a role. So Alteryx is an ETL tool. Basically, how it works. What are the different tools that you have inside Alteryx? What we can do. Like just a simple example, like in SQL, you have the left join, right join, inner join, and all those things. But in Alteryx, whenever you use a join tool, you don't have a direct left join. You need to have a combination of the left and the join, along with a union tool. So all these things, these are the challenges. There were new things that came up oftentimes of the interviews. Like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And it was a bit difficult at times. But then studying at my own pace, learning more things from the internet, and so this actually helped me. So the first round of interview is basically the person from the company who takes the interview. It's a 1 hour interview and it's completely technical, like as to what you're working on, whether you're working on AWS, whether you're working on Python, or whichever tool you're working on, they will be asking you questions. And like there are some tricky questions, as in like, for example, I was giving interview for the Alteryx developer role. So as I mentioned, like the difference between the SQL join and the Alteryx join. So how are they different? What are the join groups? And then there are many different tools as well, like how do you extract all the files from a particular folder. So these are some tricky questions that you have. And all these things you need to answer quite clearly. So once this is done, it is followed by another technical round. That is taken by the client side. So the client side then asks questions based on the certain nuances of the particular tool that you're using. Like what scenario-based questions, as in like how do you proceed with this problem? If you're having a problem, what are you going to do? How are you going to approach the problem? What are the tools that you are going to use? Because they are also much more capable using the tool. So, so this is the second round, followed by an HR kind of a round that is from the company itself, not from the client round. After the HR round, before the salary discussion also, there is another round of a simple English basic English language test kind of, wherein you need to give your there are 10 to 20 questions similar to CAT exams that you have. It comes to reasoning, the logical reasoning, the verbal, and the mathematics. So it's around 30 questions. You need to get it done in 40 minutes. So it's a bit tough, but not that tough. So these are the rounds followed by the salary discussion. The interview questions that was asked to me in this particular role was how I have used Alteryx. Like what have I done with Alteryx? Like what have been the very basic, the very starting to the very ending of the workflow. Like how do you create the workflow? What are the things that you look into? So there are many different things. Like if I want my output in a certain format, how do you get that? How do you use a reporting kind of a tool? So, all those technical questions are asked. I personally took up this NC data science program because I wanted to move into the data science domain, and I found out like Suchit, like I had an interaction with Suchit during the initial period, wherein like I had a very good discussion with him regarding what exactly I was having, what were my thought process, and what was the course that was being offered. So I found out it was in line with whatever I had thought of. So that's the reason I started with the INSAID program. I started with the CDF program only initially because I thought maybe I won't be able to match up to the level because oftentimes what happens is like we tend to follow a certain path and then there are so many things that comes up in your work life or in your personal life. These things get pushed to the back end. But then I thought like since this is a work from home scenario is going on, I thought like why not give it a chance. So and it has helped me a lot. Like the data science program has helped me a lot because it has helped me to understand the different things of statistics, the different nuances of statistics or the terminologies of statistics, and then how to deal with data. Because since I'm being a data engineer, I must be clear with the data as to what is there in the data. How can we make it more insightful or to give more insight to the data? I'm not working as a machine learning or an AI engineer, but whatever I'm doing is like cleaning the data. So there are oftentimes we get data which are garbage. How do you clean those data? How do you remove the null values? How do you remove the blanks? How do you like process into a particular format? Like if you want to transpose the data, oftentimes the data is in a certain format and the client wants in a different format. So all these things. So my day-to-day work includes development, support, monitoring, and all those things. But I'm working as an Alteryx admin as well, giving access to different resources. I'm working as an Alteryx developer, wherein my client comes up with certain challenges, like they want the data to be formatted in this way, or they want to show the data in a better way, or they want some calculations to happen. So that is also my part. Then also there is monitoring. There are already inbuilt workflows which you need to schedule on a daily basis that runs at a particular time. You need to understand like why exactly that particular workflow is failing or the data is not coming up. All those troubleshooting and everything you need to do. Also, oftentimes what happens like previously created workflows which were working fine at that point of time at times when the data changes causes issues. Like the one that I had with the calculations with on the client one. So on the client side, what happened was like there were certain mathematical calculations that needed to be, which was already created. But then after looking through the data, after trying to understand the data, I got to know that the calculations were wrong. So all these changes and then understanding, getting on a client calls on a daily stand-up call also, as to understand what is there in my kitty right now, what am I going to do today, and at the end of the day, sending out a detailed understanding of what exactly have been done through the day. So this is how my day as a data engineer looks like. My advice to the data science beginners would be to understand the data. It's not about using a particular tool or a particular methodology, I would say, but rather than understanding the data. Like why my data is like this, what can I do with the data? If I take a particular variable, will I be able to extract more information from it? How will it help me helping my business? to gain more insight or to gain more profit. Because at the end of the day, it is the business profit that drives the company. And unless and until the company gets into profit, it's not working. So basically, having a clean and a clear data or understanding the data is the most important part, I would say.